All right. Happy birthday, Brad. In order to commemorate your birthday, I decided to get Craig to do this birthday video to remember our adventure this summer by. And we shall see how you recall it versus how I recall it. And we all know my memory is way better than yours, so we'll see if you get it right.
Hello, Craig Clobby.
Hey, what's up? I have some serious questions for you.
Okay.
Remember that hike that my wife took you on in Glacier?
I do.
So, tell me your version of the story.
Here's what I recall. We were supposed to meet other people at a spot halfway up. We were supposed to go to the Avalanche stop, and we were riding in a shuttle, and they were driving. And as we were driving up, we were seeing off to our side a bunch of cool waterfalls and little pools, and we saw the car that we were supposed to be meeting at the top, parked, enjoying some of those. And when we got to the top and waited, no one was there.
I totally forgot that that's how we got there in the first place. I now recall that the whole plan was to meet everybody else. I didn't remember that part at all. But now you reminded me, so really I remembered, so my memory is still sound.
So we did a small hike there. I forget what that one was called, that your parents said we had to take. And then Tarlin said, well, I want to go see that place down there. It was only a few miles back. And I'm going.
But the only way to get there was to walk, right?
To walk, right. There was no shuttle because it was it was in the middle of two stops. And we had no other car. So she said, so I'm walking, and anyone can come with me, but you can't complain.
So, I have to say that I think I was willing to go by myself. I mean, I said I was willing to go by myself. But I never had to actually, go by myself. But, my point is my husband knew that I was supposedly going by myself, and he left me anyway. I could have died, and he just left.
And she convinced all the kids to go. And I didn't want to go. And you didn't want to go.
And also, Craig abandoned us, the weakling.
And in the back of my mind, I also had the thought maybe we'll meet Kemi and be able to drive down. And it won't all be miserable.
Yeah.
We are hiking from Avalanche to some rapids and boulders that we saw on one of the turnouts, but we don't have a shuttle stop there, so we must hike it.
So we walked down, we found a place, I don't know, several miles down the road where kids could sort of get in the water before some falls, hang out in some little pools, and as we were deciding there the best way to get back, we decided we would prefer not to walk along the main road like we've been doing, because it really wasn't a shoulder, and half the time we were walking on a decent incline, like 1 foot on the road and one on an incline, and cars are coming by. And so we saw that there was a trail that people were walking on that we assumed went to the other place. And so we decided to go across the water in order to walk or hike to the lodge and not be along the road. In order to do that...
But weren't you already swimming in the water?
I was not.
Oh.
Tar was not. Were there kids? I think all the kids had gotten in, or at least put something in.
I had gotten fully in.
Yes, and several of them have been swimming, several of them have been jumping off of cliffs. My goal was to not get wet. I walked up and down for a little, a few hundred yards in each direction to see if there was a way to, easily just hop across.
So bad.
And there might have been a way, but I don't think Tar could have done it, and I might not have been able to do it. And it was right at a waterfall that, if you failed, it would probably be bad.
And according to this video, you didn't find a spot to do that.
No, definitely not find a safe spot. to be able to just board across.
It looks like you got pretty wet.
Yes. I don't know, I feel like waist deep maybe? I don't know exactly how it...
You were carrying something over your head. What was that?
Yeah, so we had phones, we had watches, we had keys, shirts, shoes, socks, things that we wanted to stay dry. So we had a few bags. I stuffed some things in Ziploc bags that had previously held sandwiches in them for double protection, and then carried several people's bags above my head through the water, held some of the younger kids' hands to get through, although they probably would have been fine, and then got out on the other side to get redressed, and then hike another, 4 miles.
He still looks so annoyed, and it's been months.
I don't know how many miles, but too many dang miles.
So when you got to this, you found this sign that said avalanche how many miles this way, and then the lodge was the other way, and you didn't, and there was some other trail, and you said you don't know anything about either of these.
He looks annoyed still in recounting this story. I thought he'd be over it by now.
Yeah, but what way do we go?
Crap.
Because these are those things I know anything about.
Yeah.
So what happened at that point?
Yeah, so we had been walking on this trail towards, I think it was the lodge, and that was away from the road. It was on the other side of the water. We eventually got to a place where there was a bridge to get back across the water.
But wait, Craig, wasn't it around this time that you actually came looking for us in the car?
This is true, I did, because I said they've been gone way too long, and they probably don't want to hike all the way down the road. And so I came looking for them. I drove a car up. I drove up and down. I stopped at all the places that looked like they were good swimming and crossing places, and I didn't see them. And I drove up and down 2 or 3 times looking for them.
We then got to a place where we were next to the road, and there was a crosswalk, and you crossed the road, and there was a sign, and it said, like...
I still can't figure out how he can recall all of these details on a whim. I'm sitting here watching these video clips, and I'm like, oh yeah. And I was, knew we were making a video about this, so I was trying to remember what happened. And this was sprung upon him, and he remembers in chronological order exactly what happened. And this is like a surprise to me, like I'm watching a new movie, like, oh right, I was there, I remember that part now. I cannot figure out how he can do that. He must have been really mad.
The lodge, 2 miles this way, and the sign, it seemed very weird. It wasn't clear what direction was which and how to go, and the arrows we weren't sure. So we started walking up a hill, and then we were like, hey, we're definitely going the opposite direction. This can't be right. So we just sort of rather than go back down, I think because we got far enough, we didn't want to go back to the road. I don't know. We ended up walking down a non-trail, and then just walked along the road for the last couple miles. And then kids had to go to the bathroom. We were out of water, but then there was a shuttle that pulled up right as we were getting there. So I was like, let's just get on the shuttle and get down because we're late to make dinner, and Cammie's going to kill me because it's her birthday.
Ooh.
And we're supposed to be making her birthday dinner.
So what was your favorite part of that whole hike? Besides being done?
Well, that's what I was going to say, because that's the worst part, right? We get to the bottom, and then we have a 3-mile bike ride? I don't remember how many miles it was.
Few miles.
From the visitor center back to the RV park. So it really wasn't even done. There's more to do.
So do you have any future hikes planned with my wife and 8 kids?
No, but then again, this wasn't planned either.
Thanks for your version of the story. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what was the enjoyment rating of that hike?
The whole experience?
At the time. A 3?
Yeah, because different parts, right? And I would have enjoyed the water part if we had just driven there and parked there.
Yeah.
I would have done.
Listen, Brad, It's all in the experience. You would not have appreciated those rapids as much. I mean, I don't know if we really should call them rapids. Those little waterfalls as much if you didn't have to work for it. Okay? I made it way more worthwhile because you had to work for it. That's what they say.
And if you would have known how long the misery was going to last.
Right. So we're certainly a large part of it is how much longer do we have to go?
Right.
The first part of the hike, from Avalanche down to where we jumped in the water, wasn't too bad. Everyone was still in good spirits. Like, that made a large factor.
Yeah.
After we got wet, and then we're hiking through the woods and doing all that, it became, like, one by one, we were losing kids to this is boring, this is not fun, I'm miserable, and then it made everyone else miserable. And so, because of that, what you remember is the end, which was miserable.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember the end. Okay? I just remember the good times. And if you could just remember the good times, Brad, you would realize that this is a wonderful birthday present that we can recount such wonderful memories with you. And also, I had something else to say and I forgot. Dang it, I'll remember eventually.
So how would you rate it now that the experience is over and you can look back on it?
I'll add a couple points for it being now a funny story.
Okay.
But, like, it's still fresh enough, I guess, that I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know.
I wind up and said to the two youngest kids, no, you can't go. And the two other kids, if you want to go, fine. Just be nice to Tara. And would have just gotten on the shuttle with you.
Yeah. Well, next time. Next year.
Live and learn.
Okay, Brad. Listen, your kids did awesome. Even the littles. They did amazing. And they all kept their promise, pretty much, of not complaining. Although, even before we got to our first destination, in my head I was thinking, oh crap. I told everyone here that they cannot complain, and I want to complain because this is dang hard, and I'm tired, and I don't want to do this anymore. But I didn't complain. And also, I'm glad that I have a friend like you, that even though you know my track record, and that things like this tend to happen quite a bit, you still go along with it most of the time. Because, that's what friends are all about, right? Friendship. Husbands don't do it. At least I got you as a friend that'll come with me on these crazy adventures.
Well, Brad, I think I remember you saying when you got back, you were so annoyed. You got back to the RV park.
He wouldn't even talk to me.
And you said to me, Craig, that woman, I don't know how you do it. So, I may not participate in things like that with you, but
you put up with me on a daily basis.
The other 364 days of the year, so.
He was so mad at me. He was so mad. He did not even want to talk to me after we were home.
Oh.
But at least the next day, you were a little less mad. Still, it seems a little raw. I don't know, your descriptions have a little tainted color of black or brown or gray. But it's okay. I'm glad that you recounted the story because I personally forgot a lot of it. So I'm glad we've got it down on a recording for my memory purposes. Happy birthday, Bradley. We love you.